What's up, YouTube Revolution? Zombfected Gaming 349 at your fingertips. So today I want to talk about a rumored Watch Dogs 4 leak that happened recently, and it's a rumored placeholder title, which is Watch Dogs Anomaly for the 4th Watch Dogs game. Please be sure to take everything in this video with a grain of salt, but this leak or rumor, whatever it is, sounds interesting because I really enjoy the Watch Dogs games and cover them a lot on my YouTube channel. But let's take a look at the information about this leak, and credit to YouTuber Video Game Leaks for sharing this information, and the source of this coming from a 4chan post but quickly deleted moments after. People quickly saved this information, and this is where Video Game Leaks come in and covered this information. But now we are gonna read what the 4chan post said, so let's get right into this. The post says, "No one believes 4chan anyway, so let me spill some beans. Watch Dogs 4 is in development, not far along by any means, but the major ideas and key features have been planned out. Ubisoft Montreal is leading development on the series once again. Go Montreal. Really wish I could share some of the concept art work the team has been doing. All of it looks very good. But the best way I can describe the aesthetic they've been experimenting with is a glitch graffiti effect, with the red and blue blur from the old 3D movies. Looks distinct from Watch Dogs 2's art, just hard for me to describe. It has more emphasis on ink sprays, paint splatter, and graffiti bubble lettering. It all fits Watch Dogs very well. I'm a fan. The title may change, of course, but people seem pretty set on Watch Dogs Anomaly and are pushing for Ubi to secure the name. The current story pitch is essentially about the Singularity, aka the rapid uprising of artificial intelligence. Topical? No. Rather than hackers exposing and taking down the corpos, it's more so hackers are the only ones who can put a stop to what the corpos have unboxed. They'll be continuing the darker tone that the first Watch Dogs had. Not very comedic like 2, nor a mix like Legion. Some of the protagonist art exploration reminds me of Watch Dogs 1. Heavy rain at night with a long sleek coat. They are typically drawn to be vague in gender, usually with a scarf, sunglasses, and beanie, as the plan is to let the player choose between a male or female. No name has been decided yet, but the plan is for a gender-neutral name, like Alex or Sam. And yes, both would be fully voiced, just as we did for Valhalla. The play as anyone mechanic from Legion will not be present in Anomaly, and the remains of that system will mainly be used for creating more advanced NPCs. The game will be set in modern-day Boston, and plans for scouting are being worked out right now. But yeah, that's pretty much what that 4chan post has said, even though that 4chan post was taken down. I read this off of Reddit and stuff. The person probably screenshotted it and shared it with Reddit, and it's currently shown on a Watch Dogs Reddit page. But like I said, please take this very much with a grain of salt. But, you know, I like to explain and talk about some of this kind of stuff because, you know, I do enjoy the Watch Dogs franchise. And I know I do have some major Watch Dogs fans that are also subscribed to my channel. And I do want to, you know, cover this kind of stuff. Like, we do like talking Watch Dogs concepts and stuff. And I gotta say, even though I really want to see more Watch Dogs games be done outside of America, I don't find Boston a bad place. I think Boston will be interesting because we don't really see Boston all that much in very much open world crime games or pretty much open world great games at all. But the only games I can really think of, I think, that are set in Boston as open world would be Fallout 4, which is, of course, the fictional version of Boston. It's called the Commonwealth. And another place I know that's set in Boston is actually the first Last of Us game. Last of Us Part 1 also actually had a Boston setting. It was the Boston QZ, the Boston Quarantine Zone. And also, I think for a Ubisoft game that Ubisoft last visited Boston would be Assassin's Creed 3, because Assassin's Creed 3 is set in the United States of America. It's set during the American Revolution, and I do know that New York is also in it as well. Parts of course, America are in it, but I know that Boston is a place in Assassin's Creed 3. But now I kind of want to talk about the current story pitch, talking about how it's called the Singularity, also known as the Rapid Uprising of Artificial Intelligence. I believe since it said rather than exposing the corporations like how in the first 3 Watch Dogs were about, it's gonna be about what the corporations have created, and the rapid uprising of AI eventually gets so smart that it all actually gets a mind of itself and starts turning on humans and can be manipulated by hackers so much that this could be like a man versus machine type of war for the ages. Now I know in Watch Dogs Legion we had battles with drones and robots, which are AI, but what I'm saying is this will be fully taken to the next level where AI is gonna get so bad and scary that it is almost like fighting a brand new species, and AI could very much threaten humanity. I'm also saying this could be a story to expose and dispose what certain AI can do by manipulating and threatening a ton of people's way of life. The AI in this can be like Terminator, and also another game that had a fantastic story called Detroit Become Human. There's these people in Detroit Become Human which are AI, and they look and speak like real people, but some turn into this rebelling state towards humans called deviants because they hate being treated like slaves. A bunch of the deviants eventually can protest towards humans and go to war with humans, and I can definitely tell you the story of this game is really good, and a Watch Dogs game can use this type of storytelling to make for an amazing Watch Dogs game. But other than just AI, I think of course human enemies should stay in a game like this, similar to the first 3 Watch Dogs games, since this game is meant to be an open world crime game that has its uniqueness, which makes it a good competitor to GTA and stands out in this genre in its own way with, of course, the hacking and manipulation of artificial intelligence. But one thing I also want to talk about from Watch Dogs 1 was the digital trips, and it was a fantastic side activity that never made its way into Watch Dogs 2 or Legion. I definitely think these digital trips need to make a comeback because digital trips are very iconic for Watch Dogs and was highly requested for Watch Dogs 2 and Legion, but unfortunately wasn't a part of those games. But these digital trips were just so unique, and not many other video games put inside activities like these digital trips. The digital trips were pretty much a drug that put you in an alternate reality all inside your mind, and it all felt very real for the people taking the drug. I think having digital trips return not just as an activity, but a main plot for the story would be very interesting as well. Like, what if the digital trips were laced and the victim couldn't wake up and was stuck in this alternate reality and it turns into a nightmare you can't escape? This sounds really interesting. They could have these operations that shady organizations are doing by hooking people to chairs and can't escape. Think of the stuff Sky Larson did in Watch Dogs Legion, and what also happened with Aiden Pierce and Jackson Pierce with the Broca Bridge in Watch Dogs Legion Bloodline. Also, the Project Omni Tactical Ops storyline in Watch Dogs Legion Online had that kind of digital trip stuff too, and it all felt very psychological horror, and I can definitely tell you I think that it is another strength of the Watch Dogs games that has uniqueness by giving it a psychological horror element by getting stuck in an alternate reality that's all stuck in your head. This is stuff GTA doesn't do, so Watch Dogs can definitely thrive with this, and hardcore GTA fans can't always have an excuse to call a new Watch Dogs game a GTA clone. This whole digital trip story can also be somewhat similar to The Matrix because you're physically moving around in your mind and you think you're actually running around in the real world, but really you're actually just physically in one spot, not moving. I want to bring up another psychological horror game, and it's the Alan Wake games. In Alan Wake, the main character Alan is stuck in a place called the Dark Place and he thinks it's all real, but he is actually not physically there. He is physically in one spot, which is his writer's room, and as he maneuvers through the Dark Place, it's actually him writing all this in his writer's room. That's as much as I can speak about that since I don't want to get too off topic, but that's what I kind of wanted to point out, what equivalence there was with digital trips and this alternate reality in Alan Wake. Getting trapped in a digital trip similar to the Dark Place is definitely a good way to make a good psychological horror story. Mixing psychological horror into a modern near-future open-world crime game is definitely a very interesting concept that could for sure stand out, especially in a time where Grand Theft Auto 6 gets closer and closer since the open-world crime genre is definitely in need for a good competition. I also wanted to bring up what makes psychological horror so good. Just an example is the Call of Duty Black Ops games. Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2 is the best Call of Duty campaigns and best well-written, and I know some of you know what I mean by psychological horror in these games. These games are really good because of the psychological horror elements, and I also want to talk about why a new Watch Dogs game needs psychological horror. Watch Dogs can really thrive off of psychological horror because it will help bring Watch Dogs back to its dark roots even more like the first game. I know it's a very much requested thing from Watch Dogs 1 fans to go for a gritty story, and I very much agree because GTA 6, when it got revealed, it's going for a sunny Miami vibe and had goofy vibes in the trailer. I'm not saying GTA 6 will just be goofy. I'm sure there probably will have some dark story moments, but with a new Watch Dogs going for a dark dystopian psychological horror story, I can definitely see it standing out from GTA 6 in its own way. Also, with a dark, rainy, gloomy, gritty, dystopian look for Boston, it will for sure stand out from Grand Theft Auto 6's Vice City because I also know GTA fans want a dark, gritty game similar to Grand Theft Auto 4, and they are kinda skeptical Grand Theft Auto 6 won't have moments like that, and I'm one of those people, but I still have hope Grand Theft Auto 6 will have those dark moments. But yeah, that's pretty much my little concept on how a setting like this could work for a Watch Dogs 4 Anomaly game. But if you're a Watch Dogs fan, consider subscribing to my channel and ding that bell icon really hard so I can always stay within fast reach of your fingertips when new uploads arrive. Zombfected Gaming 349 over and out.